Start. All right, you guys, listen up. I'm going to throw a lot of stuff up you, and this is going to be quick. We're going to show you a 90-second video, but before we do, I've been asked to come up here and give you a big pep talk about our Ghana project and Mission Match and how that all works. Some of you already know everything about it. Some of you need a refresh. Don't pay any attention to these kids. Up here, eyes up here. You'll figure out what they're doing later. Eyes up here. This is just a refresher, okay? We're going to talk about Mission Match and a project we have in Ghana. And what that is, you need to know two phrases today. You're going to go to school and you're going to learn two phrases. The first phrase is U5MR. U5MR stands for under 5 mortality rate. It's just a number that people in suits and statisticians and eggheads use to figure out how many kids under the age of 5 are dying in the country. The United States has a low M5 rate, okay? Countries like Switzerland, Scandinavia, they have a real low, but other countries have a real high. So that means their babies, their kids are dying. Simple. The other phrase you need to know about is called promise gap. Right here. What's a promise gap? Well, way back when, in the 1990s, the world leaders got together and they said, oh, all these kids are dying. We got to do something about it. Yeah. So they said, okay, we know we can't save all the kids, right? I mean, that's just a fact of life. But we can do better than we're doing. So they made a promise. The world leaders made a promise. We're going to reduce these child deaths. Each year we're going to get them lower and lower and lower and try to get them down to here instead of way up here. That's their promise. Well, they promised to do that by 2000. Didn't happen. They tried to promise it would happen by 2015. That didn't happen. And then they promised we'll get it done by 2025. Well, you guys know as well as I do, government work. What's that like? It takes longer than they say and it costs more than they say, right? So they still haven't got down here. Here is reality. Here's where they promised and here's reality. The difference is that gap, and that's called the promise gap. And that's what we're trying to do, is get that gap closed down to where they promised. How do you do that, Mark? Well, I suppose you guys are going to go to places like Africa and Haiti and help these kids survive, right? By the way, when I say under 5, the truth is they're mostly 1-year-old. And the truth that you don't know about those 1-year-olds is they're really about 28 days old. 1 month is most of the kids that die. Those are just babies. Innocent blood. No reason for them to die. They die from things that you and I don't even think about. When I got born, way back when, they give you a shot on your butt and you're done, you know? And now we don't even think about that stuff. So you guys are all going to go to these 40 countries that the world leaders have decided are the worst. You're saying, Kugler, you're crazy. I ain't going there. Well, you don't have to, because we have found an organization that will do it for us called IHDN, Dr. Agama. He was born and raised in Ghana. Kids know where Ghana is. They can show it to you on the globe. That's part of their geography lesson in Sunday school. IHDN, Dr. Gama, they go over there twice a year. They're building a hospital, and now they're building a women's clinic, women and child's clinic, and that's what we're involved with. We're trying to raise money to build this clinic and get it going. Okay, and they got the building up. Here's a picture of the building. We'll have this back here. You can look at the pictures. Here's the giving syringe. The more you give, the more it goes up. This is our third time. This is our third time. The first time we did it, we raised $7,700 for that clinic. Not bad, not bad. The second time we did it, we raised $8,100 for that clinic. This is our third try. We'll play a video for you now. And if you would do that, Wes. 90 seconds. Pay attention to that.
Every 21 seconds around the world, one child under the age of 5 dies in the promise gap from treatable causes. The reduction goal promised by world leaders in 1990 was not met by the year 2000 or by 2015. Between 1990 and 2021, 44.3 million children under the age of 5 had died as a result. 87% of these deaths were in 40 countries, with 32 in Africa. This amounts to global racism. When a problem is everyone's problem, it is no one's problem. There is an identity group in the U.S. that can be held accountable. That group is the Christian church. The church has both Jesus' promise and direction. Americans spend $48 billion on chocolate, $447 billion on soft drinks, and $963 billion on leisure travel. So, yeah, Christians can't afford $16 billion to close the promise gap. Yankee-Tim's Mission Match wants church members to use their power for good in Jesus' name. Church leaders recommended all medical intervention projects in the 40 countries, offering a mission matching contribution as an incentive. The promise gap can be solved one intentional miracle at a time, through one medical mission project at a time. The goal is not to solve this problem in our lifetime. The goal is to solve the promise gap in the children's lifetime.
Did you see those 4 light bulbs on the bottom? Those 4 light bulbs went out because every time that light bulb went out, a child died. Last Thursday, I was at Empty Tomb, and I knew I'd have to stand up here and talk to you guys, so I'm going through this book that they publish every year called State of the Church Giving. And I think it was in chapter 7 or chapter 8, it opened up with 2 questions that stuck in my head. I could not get them out of my head this week. The first question was, why do people give? Why do church people give? Second question was similar to it. Why are people less generous now than in the past? I don't know the reason, but I think I have an idea. I think the answer to both questions is just one word: love. Love for the first question because people love Jesus and they like to do the good thing and it makes you feel good because that's what you're supposed to do when you're a Christian, because you got the Holy Spirit working in you. But I think it's also love for the second question because we love other things, we love ourselves, and the love we had for Jesus at first starts to fade and grow cool. I know that we all love Mike Wolverton. We're praying for him. He's flat on his back. I'm glad he's not here because right now he's the kind of guy who'd ruin this whole presentation and come up here and empty his wallet in this bowl, cheat all these kids. I'll tell you a little secret. Last week, I told you a secret about these kids last Sunday. I'll tell you another one. It's not really a secret, but most of you don't know about it. Kids down in Sunday school get a chance to be a part of this project. And one of the kids last week was real excited, said he earned some money. I'm not going to tell you how that kid earned that money. But he put it in this bottle, and boy, did that make me feel little. Pretty good. I wish I was like those students right up there. That's something to be proud of. I'll close with this. I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but I think it's the truth. And that's why I'm going to say it. I don't think Jesus or the people at Mission Match or the Agamas or the people over in Ghana, I don't think it's important to them how much you give. I think what's really important is that you do give. Be a part of it. This is your chance we don't want to have regrets and wish we'd have done more. I think that's going to be my regret, that I could have done more. And so I'll close with that. I'll say thank you on behalf of Jesus and Mission Match people and Dr. Gama and his wife going to Ghana. And I'll say thank you for that mother who's got a 28-year-old baby next to her breast with tears rolling down her cheeks. She's saying thank you. And maybe if we're lucky, Jesus will introduce us to that mother. Pam, stop. Anything left?
Yes.
Dump it in here. In case you're wondering how these guys helped me today, Pam told them to come in here and put $50 in that bowl every 21 seconds. That's how many kids died since we've been talking. And you guys are the cream de la cream. You are the example that Mission Match people point to. They're trying to get churches all over the country to do this, and they say, look at Christian Bible Church, that little church in the cornfield, less than 100 people. Doug, we're going to have to get a bigger offering box. He's